Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, facial recognition technology was the great hope for policing in the digital age. It was meant to help catch criminals more effectively and efficiently. However, new research suggests otherwise. Facial recognition has long been a dream for some, but a dystopian nightmare for others. And as progress in artificial intelligence has made widespread facial recognition tech possible, that dream or nightmare is fast becoming a reality. Since 2016, the Metropolitan Police have carried out 10 pilots of live facial recognition in London. Officers set up fixed cameras in locations across London, which fed images flagged up by the software as being on a watch list to a central control room. Researchers from Essex University were asked to analyse the trials, and their report was published today. During the trial, the software flagged 42 images, of which the police deemed 16 to be non-credible. Officers made 22 stops as a result of the matches, of which 14 turned out to be incorrect, and just 8 were correct matches to people on the watch list. The academics concluded that surveillance creep, or the targeting of people not actually wanted by the courts, could become a problem, and that the new methods are highly likely to be held unlawful. Facial recognition technology is being rolled out across the world. In San Francisco, ground zero for new tech, there have been moves to ban its use. While in China, facial recognition forms a major plank of the government's massive surveillance infrastructure. Today on the BBC's World at One, the Chief Inspector of Constabulary was clear that facial recognition should be a priority for police in the UK.
Now there are proper civil liberty considerations which need to be properly tackled, but the police have to ensure that they make the best use of the most modern technologies.
New law enforcement technology usually brings with it new ethical dilemmas. The question is, can the government draw up guidelines to satisfy those who worry that Big Brother may be watching us all more closely than ever before? So can facial recognition ever work, and should we even be using it at all? Joining me now from Boston is the founder of the Algorithmic Justice League, Joy Boalamwini, and with me in the studio is Peter Kirkham, former Detective Chief Inspector with the Metropolitan Police. Welcome to both of you. May I start with you, Peter? From this analysis just out, it's a 19% success rate. It's pretty disappointing for the police.
It is. I think they know that the success rate is limited, that it's been around for quite a long time now, and it works quite well where you've got a fixed orientation and good lighting and such like between camera and face. So in a corridor or going through a door or something like that. But of course, we're now talking about using it in public space where there are a huge number of variables. I personally, I'm not sure that the technology will ever quite overcome those, but you know,
you want to see the police try and be able to use.
They need to test it and see what's what.
Let's bring Joy into this. Good evening, welcome to the programme. What would be wrong with using facial recognition technology if the success rate improved?
So right now we're at a point where the face could actually become the final frontier of privacy, because even if you have completely accurate facial analysis technology, which we do not have, you can then have a situation where you have mass surveillance. So everywhere you go, anyone you meet, right, the government can be tracking you. So it's not just a case of, can we make this technology more inclusive? We have to ask, what kind of society do we want to be living in?
Do you feel there's been fair warning to British people that that's being used already in the way that it has been used? Because I'm not sure people do know. No,
I don't think there has been a public debate about it, and I think that's probably because the police have been used to CCTV around for a long time, and databases and sharing images with the public even to look out for wanted people. So I think they've probably been caught a little bit by surprise with the level of sort of challenge there is to using this technology, because at the end of the day it's pretty much what you used to do by giving photographs to police officers.
Is it like that, Joy? Is it like giving photographs in, especially if we do manage now to have the public debate? Should we get more comfortable with it because it's just the next frontier in potentially making us safer?
We have to be extremely careful when technology is promised to make us safer, but we don't actually have the evidence that is the case. And in fact, we have evidence to the contrary, where people are being falsely misidentified. In the US, there was a student at Brown University who was identified as a terrorist suspect in Sri Lanka bombings for Easter. She wasn't even in the country, and her image was run on national television, putting her family at risk. She received death threats. So this promise, right, that this will make us safer can actually put people in danger.
And so what are you saying, that we shouldn't move forward with this? Because, of course, once technology is out there, it keeps being used, doesn't it?
Well, we should definitely have a moratorium, and what we're seeing in the US is encouraging because it shows people have a voice and people have a choice in how technology is being used. San Francisco banned the technology, and so when the place where the sausage is being made is saying we're not going to eat the sausage, you need to pay attention. Somerville, also a city in Massachusetts, recently banned this technology as well, and there's also a ban in the works for using this kind of technology in New York in schools. So it's not a situation where you say the technology already exists, there's nothing we can do. You can actually say in these contexts, it's not at a stage that we want it being used, or even if it were accurate, we don't want to live in a state of constant mass surveillance.
What would you say to that? In California, San Francisco specifically, where this is really at its genesis and came from, they don't use it in the police.
I don't know what the basis for them having this ban on its use. If it's just purely and simply because they don't think it's efficient enough and it's leading to too many false positives. The police don't want to waste their time, let alone anybody else's. So if it's not effective, they won't use it. So if it's on that basis, I can understand it. But in terms of what Joy was saying about, you know, we could have tracking everybody and building these databases, what's really important to understand, and it's made clear in the report today, the facial scans aren't kept unless there's a match. So it's not gathering everybody's facial recognition stats and putting them into some sort of database. Yes, in China we've seen it being used a bit more like that.
Do we really want to be like China as opposed to being like San Francisco?
But there's nothing to suggest that we're going to go down that road.
But not just storing it still makes people feel like this is creepy, especially when they didn't know it was being used and it's not that successful yet.
Yes and no. I'm not sure people do. People were a little bit wary about CCTV when it came in, and now nobody bothers because they understand the concept.
Well, quite a lot of people are also quite concerned about it.
Yeah, but
I take the point, it's become more mainstream.
Yeah, people understand how it's used and that it's not, you know, tracking people unnecessarily. There's going to be cause for that. And it's destroyed after 30 days unless there's cause to keep it.
The future of facial recognition technology in our police is what?
Slow. I think it's got potential there because it can look for people that are wanted or banned from a particular area. So
But we're not there yet.
No.
Peter, thank you very much for your time. Joy, thank you.